Welcome to Prepclass Tutors. I am Abel. And so today we're going to be looking at mathematics WAEC past questions for the year 2020. It's going to be a kind of continuation from where we stopped in our videos. Now, before we proceed, don't forget, give us that moral support, like and comment on our videos. Yes, to keep us going. So today we're going to be focusing on question 21 to 25. So without much ado, I would like us to proceed. Okay, question number 21 says, the expression 5x plus 3 all divided by 6x, open bracket, x plus 1 will be undefined on what condition? So you need to be very careful here because the whole of this is what this denominator divides, not just the 3. So something like this is what we're looking at. So a fraction is said to be undefined if its denominator is 0. So we simply need to look for conditions in which this whole expression is going to be 0. So that is what we have here. And as you can see, 6x, open bracket, x plus 1, close bracket, is equal to 0. It simply means that this 6x here is either the 0 or the bracket expression is going to be the 0 we're looking at. So looking for the value of x here, you divide both sides by 6, and you discover that your x is equal to 0. And from here, making x the solid of the formula by moving this 1 to the other side to be minus 1. So we have two values in which the fraction will be undefined. So it simply means when x is 0, because 6 times 0 is 0, and everything here will turn 0. So this will become undefined. Or if x is minus 1, because if x is minus 1, this is minus 1 plus 1, so the whole of this bracket will be 0. And so this will be 0 times 6x, and everything will turn 0. So these are the conditions in which the fraction will be undefined. So don't forget yet again that a fraction is said to be undefined if its denominator is 0. So looking at our work, so you can see option B reflects what we did, that at 0 and at minus 1, when x happens to assume any of these values, then this fraction will be undefined. Please avoid the temptation of this xy coordinate pairing by thinking that this is x and this is y. No, here the combination is a kind of set here. We're not looking at the coordinates. So this is telling us that at set 0 and minus 1, our x will exist here to make this fraction undefined. So please take note of that, very important. Now I'm proceeding to the next question. It says, a man is 5 times as old as his son. In 4 years' time, the product of their ages will be 340. If the son's age is y, express the product of their ages in terms of y. So what we need to be doing here is to follow this thing gradually. For every statement, if you can break this into simple sentence and translate it into mathematical language, then the work is going to be very easy for you. So proceeding to the next slide to see how this can be done, let's look at this sentence. A man is 5 times as old as his son. This is a man, and is, which is our equality sign, 5 times his son. So if we say that the son is y years, simply means that the man is 5y years. Okay, now I'm proceeding ahead. It says in 4 years' time, the product of their ages will be 340. So man plus 4 times son plus 4, because in 4 years' time the son will increase by 4 too, just as the man is also growing by 4 years. So the product of their ages will be 340. So we have it here. Now, substituting the value of the son's age to be y, substituting the value of the man's age to be 5y, then we'll be left with this expression here. 5y plus 4 as this bracket, and the next bracket y plus 4. So by the time we expand this bracket, 5y times y, we have 5y squared, 5y times 4, we have 20y, and 4 times y, we have 4y, and 4 times 4, we have 16. This is equivalent to 340. So by the time we add 20y plus 4y, we're going to have 24y. And by the time we make this 340 to cross to the other side of the equality sign, leaving 0 this side, we will be left with this expression. 5y squared plus 24y minus 324 is equal to 0. So this is our final equation. So as you can see, it reflects option D. So this is the final answer. Proceeding to the next, it says simplify a all over b minus b all over a minus c all over b. Now this, one of the temptation or one of the tasks one usually gets to think of, especially before looking at this option, is, oh, to what extent do I simplify this work? But you don't need to worry in most cases like this. A simple analysis here will sort things out, because most of the options, they happen to be arranged in a way that the simple work that you will do here, by comparing your work with the options, you will discover that your answer will be looking at you clearly. So let's look at how we proceed with this. So you see a all over b minus b all over a minus c all over b. The LCM of this is ab. I have my ab. B into ab is going to be a times a squared. A into ab is going to be b times minus b is going to give me minus b squared. B into AB is A times minus C is going to give me minus AC. So as you can see, this does not look, I can do much here. It doesn't look like I can do much here at all. So I have to now look at the options. Is there anything coming close to what I have? And as you can see, clearly option D looks like what we got. So this is our answer. Proceeding to the next question. It says, in the diagram, XYZ is an equilateral triangle of side 8 centimeter, and T is the midpoint of XY. Find the tan of angle X, angle at Z, T. So we have X, Z, Y, and T. So all the sides are equal because it is equilateral, as we all know. And this is the midpoint of XY, which means that from the distance from here to here is equivalent to the distance from this T to this Y. So if the total length here is given to be 6 centimeter, it means here it's going to be 3 centimeter and here is going to be 3 centimeter. So let's look at how this was carved out and operated upon. So I brought this part out by truncating this portion and fishing it out of the whole diagram to work on it. So you see this part is the 3 centimeter we're talking about here, and then this part, which is the 8 centimeter, is the 6 centimeter, which is this XZ. So you see, if you remember your Pythagoras theorem, because this is angle 90, you discover that this portion will have to give us 3 root 3 by applying the principle here. So our XZ here is 6, so we have 6 square. Our XT is 3, we have 3 square, plus TZ. This is the TZ we're looking for before. So by the time you rearrange this, making this the subject of the formula, you have TZ squared to be equal to 6 square minus 3 square, which is 36 minus 9, and that will give us 27. 27 is equivalent to the square root of 9 times 3, which is the same thing as saying 3 root 3. And that's how we got this. So remember, our task is to find the tan of angle at Z. So tan of this angle. So it means we need to look for the opposite side, which is 3, all over the adjacent here, which is 3 root 3. So opposite all over adjacent, 3 cancel 3, and we're left with 1 over root 3. So the tan of angle XZT is given as 1 over root 3. So this, as you can see, is option A. So proceeding to the last question on the video, we have a word problem question here. And please, in questions like this, we need to be very careful to interpret the information as given to us, because any slight misinterpretation will result in wrong answer. Listen to this. A fence 2.4 meter tall is 10 meter away from a tree of height 16 meter. So please neglect the centimeter here because it's actually given as meter. It's a type of error. So calculate the angle of elevation of the top of the tree from the top of the fence. So you have to be very careful. 2.4 meter tall, the fence, and is away from a tree, 10 meter, and the tree is 16 meters high. So calculate the angle of elevation from the top of the tree, from the top of the fence, angle of elevation of the tree from the top of the fence. So when we look at this diagram, it simplifies the whole thing. This is our tree. Sorry, this is our fence, which is 2.4 meters. And this happens to be our tree, which is 16 meters high. And of course, the fence is away from the tree by 10 meters. So you see this is the interpretation. So we're looking at angle of elevation from the top of the fence of these three. So what we need to do is, by the time you bring this, you discover that, okay, from here to here is 10, and from here to here is 2.4. Simply means because the total from here to here is 16, by the time I remove 2.4 from it, I'll be left with 13.6 meters. So I have 13.6, BC is 13.6, and then AC is 10. So this is what we're saying here. BC, as you can see, 16 minus 2.4 is 13.6, and the tan of the angle is 13.6 all over 10 because of the AC, and so this will give us 1.36. So we need to find the arc inverse to get our theta. So theta is equivalent to arc tan of 1.36, and this will give us 53.67. That roughly is the value of theta, which is the angle of elevation from the top of the fence of the tree. This, as you can see, is well supported by option B. So with this, we've come to the end of today's class, and please don't forget, subscribe, and you get to see a lot of these videos coming your way. Until then, do have a nice day.